Okay, Gemini, I think the first thing I want to do, actually, if you don't mind, I know there's like so much to talk about, but I want to talk about this King of Cups reversed first and to get some more information about who this person is and really where it is they're coming from. If we don't know where they're coming from and we don't really understand what they are really needing or their motivations, it can be difficult to deal. We got a whole bunch. It can be really difficult to deal with it. First of all, you're dealing with someone who's not balanced, okay? You're dealing with someone that doesn't exactly understand who they are and really what they stand for. You're dealing with someone who is seeking new opportunities, who is trying to maybe in some ways, they're trying to carve a new path for themselves. They're trying to feel useful, but somehow things aren't really working out very well. They do have a sense of antagonism about them, right? They do have this like highly defensive, and if we're talking about an actual Scorpio, guys, it might not be a Scorpio, but let's talk about the Scorpio archetype, right? Because we all have Scorpio in our chart somewhere. And Scorpio can be so freaking stubborn, can be so like, oh, when you deal with a Scorpio in reverse, it's like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? What are you dealing with, right? Because they can be so aggressive in their opinions and they can be very sharp and they can be really revengeful, you know? And it's like, if you don't support them, they can be really dark and they can go into their very dark places. Be careful that you're not dealing with someone who has any kind of an addiction, right? Often a King of Cups reverse can be someone prone to drinking a lot or escapism, really running away from the world and hiding in their like darkness kind of thing, you know, apartments with their shades drawn and like the dark, dank, musty air. Okay, did I paint a good enough picture for you? Right. So there's like an anger against the world, and if they do not have an outlet, right, and if they're trying to carve this out for themselves, or they're waiting for this, or they're trying to achieve this, and they need you to be on board with something, and you're not really agreeing with that, they can take it out on you. The problem is that their idea is not quite fully developed, or the opportunity hasn't quite made it to their doorstep yet. So they're dealing with a frustration of what it is that they really want to do with their life, okay? And this is very big picture. You know, this is someone that really feels like they have a lot to contribute to the world. It's someone that feels like there's a lot of goodness in their heart, but when the world seemingly conspires against them, they don't handle it that well. Okay, they could be the cause of this tower situation. They could be the reason why this is such a shocking kind of event. They could be the reason why your world is so highly affected. Okay, these are two Scorpio energies. Okay, and the Scorpio energy, the Scorpio stinger, like, man, can that thing sting? Just like the way this lightning bolt strikes the building, it's like, ugh. And it can be so painful sometimes. So it is important for you to understand where it is they come from, because I don't want to see you turned upside down, because there's so much for you to be positive about. The fact that they might not really be so interested in working things out or compromising or whatever is completely and 100% a product of their choice, right? It's a product of their own free will. It's a product of themselves and their own level of maturity that they just really have to deal with. And it is not your responsibility. Okay, and even if you're married to this person, it's not your responsibility. This is a free agent, okay? And so for you to feel torn down is not fair to you. So if you do need to leave or to take space, to take time away, that's fine. You know, and I would actually recommend doing that, because you don't need to be vibing with someone who's at low vibrations. You know, you really don't need to be vibing with that. It's not healthy for you. It prohibits your progress. And like I said, sometimes this Three of Swords, it's a necessary loss. It's just something that you got to do. It's like a duty almost. And you might not quite really see the outcome. You might not really be too happy about it. Yeah, you might be really frustrated by the circumstances and like, oh man, I was so hopeful. I was so optimistic, whatever. But you know what? It's not... in the grand scheme of everything, in the grand scheme of your life, it is so insignificant. because you have, look at, I mean, you're looking at this upright, right? I mean, this is someone who is powerful, determined, who is strong, intelligent, someone that has the ability to not just think about making a difference, but this is the one on the front lines sitting there. Like I said, you're the reason why the gardens grow. You're the reason why we have the harvest. So let's not forget the integral role that Gemini has in the circle of life, okay? And for you to take that responsibility very seriously means that sometimes you do need to leave low vibrational people by the wayside. And it's their problem. If they want to come along with you in to a positive vibe situation, if they want to move forward with you, they want to grow with you, they want to support you, I mean, of course that will be reciprocated, right? You'll do the same for them. But if they want to be angry about it, if they want to go and pout and do their little like Page of Cups, whatever type of thing, and be sad and frustrated, well, then that's on them. You know, there's really not a lot you can do. See, with every crashing down, see, even the stroke of lightning is yellow, right? And we have the sun, and we have the yellow, and we have the optimism and the excitement. And I love this card for a Gemini. It's like a breath of fresh air, which is what you really, really need right now. You just need a breath of fresh air. You need an ability to be out in the open, to stare at the sunshine, to feel the warmth on your face, and to feel like the storm really has passed. I think this is a flash in the pan. I think it's very, very short-lived. Whatever issues you are experiencing are not going to be there forever. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be very in and out. It is the release of the devil. It is your breaking free. I mean, how perfect could that be? Whatever has been the noose around your neck, a project you couldn't seem to get finished, a deadline you couldn't seem to meet, a friend you couldn't seem to reconcile with, or whatever, that seems to all be coming to a close very rapidly. And the devil means that you have learned the lesson. Right? It's a karmic quality. It's Saturn. Saturn is a teacher. And though his lessons can be hard, it's like that teacher that has those really tough final exams, right? The ones that grade everything from not only the content, but they grade your overall understanding, and they even grade your grammar. Right? So it's like you have to think of everything. It's all encompassing. It's holistic in its view. But at the end of that class, at the end of those final exams, as hard as it was, as much as you hated that professor, that is the class that you came away from learning the most about. That's Saturn. That's the devil. So this is the situation that you've come from learning more about than anything else. Okay, so there's a reason to be grateful for that. There was a soul choice, right? When you reincarnated in this lifetime, you specifically knew that these types of energies, maybe not this exact situation, but these types of energies would be around you at this point in time in your life. And you accepted that. So it's important for you to accept responsibility on the soul level and say, okay, well, if my soul, which is represented here with the Fool, right? The soul naively comes down into this third dimensional world, right? And is created and has this life, right? And you may have gone through a little bit of a forgetting process getting here. So of course you don't remember, but it's exactly what it was meant to be. And you have to, like I said, accept the responsibility that this was ultimately your choice. And it was ultimately what your soul needed in order to progress. It is about higher vibrations with that magician in the middle. That's all it is. It's about the higher vibrations. It's about the positive, right? Thinking the positive, seeing the bright side of things. Gaining the lessons, gaining and accepting the knowledge. There might be a you may have a little bit of difficulty with the acceptance of the knowledge with that Ace of Swords reversed, simply because it's like, I don't want to. My gosh, what is with all the majors? Holy cow. I mean, good for you guys, really. And this is a powerful one. It's the card of Cancer, right? The sign right after yours. Cancer can be fiercely strong and so directed. And I mean, Cancer, like, they get too much credit. I mean, they get too much for being sensitive and emotional and yada, yada, yada. But when you think of the exterior, the exoskeleton of a crab, I mean, it's tough, right? I mean, that's like full on armor, full on protection. Those are warriors. And so the Cancerian quality coming out with a a weapon of war, right? A sword. In your words are your weapons. Your words are your weapons. If I can spit out the words. This is my sword reverse moment. Okay. And I feel like there's a containment here. Like I said, it's about listening. That's all you need to do this month. Just let the energy pass you by. Let the energy, like you're standing up on a bridge and watching the water run underneath, to polarize yourself toward the higher. Again, we have that mass. See, with the tarot, there are so many cards, especially with the major arcana, that have the integration of masculine and feminine, right? The feminine with the masculine. We even have the 2 cups here. We have the masculine and feminine. We have the masculine and feminine, right? So that is not a theme, Gemini twins, duality, that is lost on you by any stretch of the imagination. And that's going to be a theme for you. The unification of your duality, the twins coming to play together, the twins coming to work together, the acceptance of the darkness as you step into the light. I mean, these couldn't be any more kind of the same, right? When you look at them, you have the divine entity here, and then you have the masculine and feminine here. But this ultimately is the power. This is the magician, right? The magician is the will and the higher self controlling the right brain, left brain, controlling the emotions, controlling the thoughts, right? That's essentially what's happening with these cards. Okay, that was reversed. Okay, so let's see what else comes out with the Ace of Swords. Big picture here, guys. Big picture. See the red? Red, red, red. It is about love. Your base chakra might be quite, and I remember talking about sex last month. I do. I remember talking about having that feeling, having that urgency, the sexuality. And the sexuality can be channeled in other directions. It can be channeled with work and creation and all that. But I feel like your passion is very high and it is very potent. And I feel like the love, maybe romantic love, is kind of being transferred toward a love of humanity. Again, another theme of Uranus. And a love of the unity of this world. And I do feel like you're seeing things from an eagle's perspective or the lion's perspective, right? And in some ways you are accepting the role of being a leader. In some ways you might, again, as much as you might detest it, as much as you might be like, I don't want to have to be the leader, because it's maybe too much responsibility, but that's what you need to do, Let's see what this 3 of Swords says. Prosperity. There's something with the vantage point that I'm getting, something with the 10,000 foot perspective. That's certainly something that I'm seeing. And again, that's all a choice of that's mental alchemy, right? Your ability to change your mental state. Let's kind of move this guy up here so we don't forget that he's down there. But prosperity is coming. Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Cups, 3 of Wands. Prosperity is coming. Wealth is coming. Spiritual wealth, spiritual growth. whatever changes it is that you're seeking in your life, they are coming, although it will require patience. Even though this seems to be quite a loud reading, it is actually very, very quiet, right? Very silent. And I do feel that you are going to be as though a pouncing or a lion waiting in the grass, ready to pounce. And here we have the Queen of Swords sort of commanding or directing. I see her as kind of like a manifester, right? She's got her hand up almost as though like with her magic wand, even the conductor of an orchestra or a wizard with his wand sort of making things occur. And she truly does have the wisdom, but also the diplomacy, right? She has the wisdom to make certain things happen, but the diplomacy to also make sure that things are fair. There is nothing unfair about this Three of Swords, guys. I want you to know there is nothing unfair about it. It is exactly what needs to happen. And it is exactly how things have to pan out in order to open the door for the Ace of Coins. This Ace of Coins is really coming through really hot and heavy for me. Let me see if I can get like 1 or 2 cards for the Ace of Coins, and then I'll move down to the Knight of Swords reversed. Okay. Strength. Yeah, we're talking about something material coming in. Like I said, it doesn't have to be money. It could be quality time with someone. See, actually, I feel like this Magician and this Strength, it's the same person. Again, the masculine and feminine, both wearing white, right? And both connected to infinity. And the coins, cups, swords, wands here are indicated with the lion here. The devil is also the lion. It is the physical world. It is our physical restraints, our physical restrictions. It is the beast that needs to be tamed, right? And sometimes that's energy, sometimes that's just an issue, whatever it is. But this is her ability to rise above, again, the vantage point, and to be able to control it via the use of willpower, which strength is, willpower and courage. See, the thing that you need to have is courage. Be careful of your inclination to maybe whimper away. And the reason why I say that is because of the reversal, right? That's the only reason why I say that. This is... it's very likely that whatever reciprocation you are needing from someone will not come at this point in time. Maybe later on in the future, yes, but right now it's not about reciprocation. It's about an understanding of the unconditional quality of love. You do not need reciprocation at this point in time. Okay, and to operate as though you do not need it. And you can project love and you can project caring from afar if it's like a little too much, right? Because the lion and the devil, it can be too much sometimes, and it can be hard, and it can be hard to separate ourselves from our ego and from the way it makes us feel. But that's what the devil reverse is about, the separation from the ego and the higher self rising higher and higher so that it can command the emotions and the thoughts, right? And it is hard. It is a reading of self-mastery, no doubt. And you are going to be tested in your ability to control yourself and to control your mind, to control the way you feel. And this person's going to bring it out. You know, this person's going to like not really make you feel the way you thought you were safe to feel, if that makes sense. So many people here, guys. Now, there may be multiple players at play. I'm getting swords, I'm getting cups, I'm getting wands. A lot of passion. It might be difficult for you at this time to completely separate yourself from this person, okay? Or from this, you know, to physically separate yourself. Like I said, it's about big picture stuff right now. You have to like open your mind up and think in the grand scheme. Like I would really start your sentences with that. In the grand scheme, this is just like a couple weeks and it's not a big deal, right? Kind of thing. In the grand scheme, this is just one person I've come across over thousands of people that I've met throughout the course of my lifetime. It's really not that big a deal, or whatever it is, right? In the grand scheme. And you are, while sitting in the grass waiting to pounce, there is still a need for you to be actively visualizing, right? Visualizing the way you see this going, visualizing an outcome, visualizing a direction. And like I said, listening to what is meant to be received. And you might still feel trapped in the murky waters for just a little while longer. You may still feel trapped by some force that you can't quite seem to put your finger on. But ultimately, it is that force that is seemingly holding you back that will liberate you in the end. Okay? Let's do the Two of Cups reversed last, and then we'll call it a reading. We'll call it a day. There is victory here for you. With or without this person, there is victory. Two cards of Saturn, both reversed. Whatever resistance in moving on from this thing that you're feeling, it is so critical that you accept it. You accept the resistance. You accept what is not in your control, right? What is not in your control is this person. What is not in your control is the way they take things out on you. What is in your control is how you react. Do you just completely separate yourself? Do you take a break? Do you meditate and send them love? Do you, whatever it is you have to do to ensure that you are not being sucked down by someone else's lower vibes, that's what you need to do, okay? This is a very crucial point in your life. All right, if you can learn this lesson and you can push through this portal the way that you're meant to be pushed through this portal, then you can progress. Your soul can continue to evolve. And what happens when you make your way through this portal is you start collecting and associating with people also on those same wavelengths. So it is kind of like a cutting off point, okay? But you're not quite there yet. I know, again, it's upside down. They are both reversed though. So not only is this not quite over, but because of the Saturnian quality, it kind of carries over, right? This is needed in order to push you through, but because this is challenged, this is also challenged. So while there is victory here for you, I would highly recommend connecting with friends, connecting with people that you love and care about you very much, connecting with people that support you and really do want to see you succeed, because they will give you that courage, right? Strength reversed. You're going to need courage at this time. You're going to need courage to do what you need to do, to say what you need to say, to separate and to block people or whatever it is. You're going to need that at this time, because this can be hard. Two of Cups can be hard when it's, kind of like, I love that person, I care about them, but it just doesn't seem to be, we're just not vibing, plain and simple. But you guys, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you, because this is what needs to happen. This is what Uranus is all about. And we have 8 years now ahead of us of this transit occurring. 8 beautiful years where we will have the option to start manifesting the things that really matter. And here you are coming in contact. This is like your first lesson, right? Coming in contact with really what matters. Okay? So you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best. Take care.